Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world, welcome. I will be labeling this video as a message for October 30th, but really I'm setting the intention that it be a message for you for the next 24 hours from whenever you happen to see it. You may be in a different time zone where it's a different date where you are in the world when I'm posting this, or you might not see it for a few weeks, months, years. So we're setting the intention for the next 24 hours. Happy birthday to all the October 30 babies, or if it just happens to be your birthday on whatever random day you stumble upon this message. For those of you who like my story times, I feel moved to share a story at the end. So my OGs, my people who love to hear me ramble, stick around for that. But for the rest of you, we're going to just get right on into the card. Some of you are like, shut up, lady, and show me the card. So that's what we're doing. Card here is, ooh, the moon. Major Arcana, not surprising. Now, when we're kind of near certain lunar events or lunar like a full moon or a new moon or a lunar eclipse, as it so happens is happening, what is it, November 8th, 9th? It's coming up here pretty soon. It's not that far away. And the moon card comes up for me as we're approaching that full moon, new moon, eclipse. It's a message to me that you're going to be greatly influenced by that current moon cycle and that it's going to be a really powerful time for you. Okay. Now, the full moon eclipse that's coming up is going to be in Taurus. I know it's happening during Scorpio season, but it's a full moon in Taurus. Okay. So if you have Taurus placements, maybe, possibly, you might feel it more so than other people. But the fact that the moon card is coming up here tells me that those of you who are seeing this video, this particular eclipse might be very significant for you, or this particular full moon might be very significant for you. If you are a Pisces or Cancer, even more so, this could be a time that you're really, really, really clearing away all of the emotional and mental and spiritual clutter. Really just kind of releasing anything and everything that has come into your programming, your shaping, your molding, right? Our parents love us. They want what's best for us. They do their best to instill what they feel is going to be beneficial for us. But sometimes it really pushes us to be in a different direction than what we are naturally, right? Then we get older and we start seeking out teachers and mentors and gurus. And again, they might teach us their path, but it might be in opposition to something we are internally. And we tell ourselves, well, I can't be that way. I shouldn't be that way. And we start to work against ourselves and try to train ourselves to be something different. So for me, this is like a clearing away of the things that aren't you and coming into your authenticity and taking back your power and loving yourself, all of yourself, not being ashamed or embarrassed of any aspect of yourself or your past or your family, loving and owning all of it, being in gratitude for all of it, and living your best life unapologetically without concerns or worries about what other people think about what you're doing or what opinions they might have or how they feel about it. You're not concerned with it at all. It's coming into your true confidence. For the rest of us, this could be a really significant release in fear. The fact that this card is coming up and we're talking so much about release, now I understand why I felt so moved to tell my story here. And I'll get into it here in just a minute. But so this is gonna be a time of release. Like we're letting go of anything that is slowing us down and keeping us from progressing, keeping us from moving forward, the things that are keeping us stagnant, the things that are holding us back. For many of us who aren't dealing with the authenticity thing, it could be just releasing fear. Like you know who you are, but you're afraid to show who you are. Well, guess what? You're going to be releasing that. Now, obviously, this is a message, as I said, I'm setting the intention for the next 24 hours, but major arcana cards come up when we're coming into a new chapter. So whatever is happening in the next 24 hours may be setting a series of events into motion, but it's not going to be wrapped up in 24 hours. It just, something is beginning, something is starting. And some of you may have heard me say recently in previous videos that anytime we have a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse, any kind of an eclipse, it extends those energies by 6 months. We had a full moon eclipse in Scorpio 5 months ago. We're still processing that energy. We just had a lunar eclipse and a new moon in Scorpio on October 25th. That's going to be going for 6 months. And in a few weeks here, or not a week or so, we're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. And that's going to go 6 months. These are big energies. So we're talking about massive shifting, massive unveiling, uncovering, okay, releasing. And so releasing anything that has been holding you back. Some of you may also be coming into um, uh, sharp increases in intuition. Okay. I know that that can be very scary for a lot of people. And I know it's kind of controversial. It's a controversial topic or subject. Some people believe in the spiritual realm. Some people say, oh, you're crazy and you need to go see somebody and there's something wrong with your head. It's a controversial kind of thing here. But obviously, I believe in the spiritual realm. I believe in intuition. I believe in, being able to tap in and connect with that higher power. And so some of you may be wanting to tap into that, and that might be scaring you. That might be a scary process for you. Now, all I can really tell you, those of you who are, I'm not even going to say those of you who are choosing to explore it, because for some of you, it might just be opening up. I know for me, I fought this for so long. This whole intuition thing and this whole like having premonitions about things, or having dreams and the dreams coming true. I have fought this since childhood, and my parents would always tell me, this is satanic, this is demonic, you have to pray, you have to read the Bible. I mean, since I was like 3 or 4 years old. And so I would push it down. Once I got older, and I went through my healing journey, it just kind of cracked open. And I was like, okay, I can't repress this. I have to learn how to work with it. Right? And for so long, I was repressing. For so long, I was going against it. Okay, I was taught this is bad. I was taught this isn't okay. This isn't acceptable. This is something satanic or supernatural. Or other people would say, oh, maybe you're just crazy. Have you thought of that? Maybe you just have some kind of mental issue. And so it was constantly, okay, I got to keep this in check. I can't open up to this. Then you would go to certain spiritual teachers or gurus, and they would tell me, well, you have to connect in this way, you have to connect in that way. I had one lady telling me that I had to embrace my goddess energy by just going out and getting freaky and nasty with any living creature that came along. And that was not my thing. That was not my style. And so you're going to come across people who are telling you, like, this is what you have to do, and this is how you should be. And at some point, you're going to start realizing, you know what? That doesn't resonate with my spirit. That doesn't resonate with my soul. I don't feel comfortable working with certain energies. I don't feel comfortable working with certain modalities. I don't feel comfortable trying to change or repress certain parts of myself. And for those of you who are going to be connecting more fully with your intuition and with your spiritual gifts, the biggest advice that I can give you is being able to really connect with your spiritual protector, whoever that might be for you. I can't tell you what to believe. I can't tell you who to pray to. I can't tell you who you should worship. But this is a good time to figure that out for you. For me, I was taught, God from childhood. And as I got older, I had a better understanding of what I believed God to be. Not some, spiritual figure in heaven sitting on a throne, making a list like Santa Claus. You've been bad, you're going to be punished. You've been good, I'm going to send you down a blessing. That's not my understanding of God these days. So for me, I always gravitated towards the angels, Archangel Michael. I love to, ask for his protection. Um, when I'm doing spiritual work or when I'm going into readings or when I'm meditating. So you have to decide who your protectors are. I know, like in the shaman tradition, people will call in the four corners, and they'll set certain like spirit animals in certain places or certain directions. Whatever resonates with you. Somebody told me in very early beginning, I can't do readings until I really learn to connect with the east and the west and the north and the south, and my altar has to be facing this direction. I have to have these color combinations, and I have to be working with this crystal, and maybe that works for that person, but it was way too complicated for me. So you're gonna find your way. You're going to find your path, and you're going to release the fears that have been holding you back. For other ones of you, it's just fears holding you back in life. Maybe you want to leave a living situation, but you're so scared that, okay, well, even if I do get financial independence and I can afford to leave this situation and I can move out on my own, or I can go live with a friend or something, what if I lose that job? What if I can't hold on to it? And then you're still scared to leave. Even after you get some kind of financial independence. That's just an example of a scenario. And some of you want to leave so badly, but you feel so very stuck. So these things are gonna be clearing out. Anything that's been holding you back, anything that's been keeping you stagnant, the things that you've been scared about. Some of you may have some really repressed things coming up that you have really pushed into the four corners in terms of shadow work. And these things are coming up to be released. And so this brings me to the story I wanted to share and the message I wanted to share. Some of you might be feeling really stuck and really trapped in a very negative or toxic environment. And it might feel scary, and it might not feel safe. And you might think to yourself, how will I ever get out of this? I've been there more than once in my life. So I can relate to that, and I'm greatly sympathetic to that. And, I would hear so much, you have to raise your vibration. And once you raise your vibration, you're going to get out of that place. The reason why you're in this place right now is because you're matching it vibrationally. And as soon as you raise your vibration, you're going to find yourself someplace better. And I took that to mean like that was some kind of a punishment. Like I'm toxic, I'm bad, I'm negative. That's why I'm in this situation. And once I become a good person or a better person, then I won't be in that situation. But that's not the case. Sometimes very good, loving, gentle, empathetic, self-sacrificing, good people end up in some very toxic situations, feeling kind of controlled, or by people who are just kind of lower vibrational or toxic, or controlling, and we just feel like we can't get out of it. So raising your vibration, it's not even necessarily about you being quote unquote a better person. It's about you being in the energy of safety, you being in the energy of peace, you being in the energy of joy, you being in the energy of optimism, and just feeling a sense of contentment, a sense of like home in your spirit and in your heart. And once you begin to tap into that, it's like you're a little balloon filled with helium. You're just going to float right on out of there and into the next thing. It will happen quite effortlessly, quite miraculously. And I can say this from my experience. And the thing that has gotten me unstuck, I was thinking about this today. the thing that has gotten me unstuck and helped me to raise my vibration. I talk a lot about healing. I talk about a lot about like doing things that inspire you and lift your spirit. And sometimes we can't do that. You know, I've been in positions where I haven't been able, this is kind of embarrassing to say, but as an adult, I wasn't allowed to leave the house. I couldn't just go. I couldn't go to like a bookshop or a coffee shop, or I couldn't go out with friends, or I couldn't go do what I wanted to do. I couldn't light incense and candles and crystals and, you know, explore, you know, with tarot cards where I was living. It was, I was watched like a, like, you know, like hawk, like watching me like a hawk. And so for me, my escape, you know, I couldn't do things. I couldn't do things without anybody in my business. What are you doing? Where are you going? Who are you talking to? What is this? What are you working on? What is this supposed to mean? Are you writing something? What are you writing? Are you drawing something? You're painting something? What is this? Is this supposed to symbolize something? What's going on here? Like, what are you trying to say? It was just stifling, absolutely stifling. And my escape to raise my vibration has been music. Music has been such a powerful way for me to mentally, emotionally, spiritually leave a situation. And once I left emotionally, spiritually, mentally, the universe aligned to where now my body can go, my body can follow. So I really, really, really suggest that you incorporate music into your healing journey. Two things that you can do is music, and you can just put in your little earbuds or your little headphones and just kind of disconnect and put yourself in a bubble with your music. I know some of you really want to work with essential oils or incense, but or crystals or stuff, but you can't um, because of people you're living with, or there might be a rule where you can't light candles, you can't have incense or essential oils. Um, what I would really suggest and what I would really recommend, if you can't, for some of you, this might not be even be an option. But another thing that would help me, I would have my music, and then colors. I started to get really into colors at some point because for me, colors like would set a mood or set a tone. So like blue, pink, green, purple, these colors have different kind of associations for me. And I'm not going to tell you which color to use because that color might tell you something different. And I'm here telling you something else, and you're like, well, this isn't helping me. I can't get into it. It's not resonating. So if colors resonate, then you choose your own colors, whatever colors mean to you, and either get like one of those light bulbs online that you can change the color. Some of them are really expensive and some of them are like really inexpensive. I've seen some for like, you know, $10. You can get a color changing light bulb, or you can just do it the old school way and get different light bulbs that are different colors. And if you have a space where you can put it into a lamp, or, you know, put it into your room, and just work with that color of like, this is what I want to feel. I want to feel this color. I want to feel what I associate with this color, what this color makes me feel. That has been so like transporting for me. So very transporting for me. And I feel like as you open up to it, you will even discover like certain artists that really motivate you, certain artists that really move you, things that really parallel. Music has been such a spiritual experience for me. Such a spiritual experience for me. And there's been so many parallels and coincidences that till this day, I'm not quite sure what they mean. But it's been like a for me, like, hey, you're on the right path right now. That's all it's told me is you're on the right path right now. I remember when I was like 12 or 13, I would sit outside the little house we were renting, and I would go out there and I would just journal in my little notebook. Terrible poetry. I wrote terrible poetry. And my neighbor on the other side of this little chain linked fence, he'd be out there working on his car. And he was like this guy in, I'm going to say maybe late 40s, early 50s. And he'd just be tinkering away on his car. And he would just be singing opera. He was drinking, clearly drinking, but he had the most beautiful voice. And then he'd go inside and he'd put on his little record player, and I could see him through the window, and he would sing along this amazing song, and I didn't know what it was, and I felt so moved by it. Like, I felt it in my spirit, and I was like, I want to know what he's listening to. I want to go to the record store. Back in that day, we had record stores. We had like Music Plus and the Warehouse and all that stuff. I wanted to like see if I could find these songs or these like CDs or whatever. And so one day I finally got up the nerve to go and talk to him, and I was like, I'm sorry to bother you, sir, but I just wanted to ask you, what is the opera that you listen to? Like, who is that? And he was like, how old are you? What business do you have with opera? You don't understand opera. You haven't lived long enough to understand this music. And he was, he'd been drinking, and he just opened up and he told me his whole life story and his wife leaving him and how he deserved it and how he's a monster, and like, just I don't, he just opened up. He said like all this stuff to me, and then he told me thank you like 1,000 times. He's like, I guess I just needed somebody to talk to. And he told me it was Caruso. The opera was Caruso. And he goes, you're not gonna find it. He goes, you're not gonna find this stuff, kid. This, like, he goes, if you do find it, you're not gonna be able to afford it. Like, these records are hard to find. They're gonna be really expensive. And I was so sad. I was so bummed out. But that music, I would just sit outside, I would listen to him sing, I'd listen to him put on the opera records, and it just woke something up in me. Just as a young girl going through my changes, not feeling like I belong, feeling like an alien all the time, that music just moved me and soothed me and empowered me and woke something up in me. And then a few years later, I got into like some darker music, some darker stuff, and I came across this CD by a guy called Gavin Friday, and the second song on there was Caruso. It was called Caruso, and he referenced the opera singer in the song. And that to me was like, again, like a click. Like, okay, I'm kind of headed on the right path here. I'm headed in the right direction. And opera for me has been one of my really healing, releasing music kind of things. And that kind of music, and the things that I processed, and that particular CD that I listened to, um again, helped me with my awakening, helped me to see, some things are not so black and white. There's a lot of gray areas, figuring that stuff out. And tapping into my shadow, tapping into my light, and just exploring these aspects of myself. Music has helped me and walked me through so much of my healing, my clearing, my awakening, my ascending, my raising my vibration. That I want to say, I know you feel stuck, and it might sound cliche or cheesy, but music can carry you out of it. Music can lift you out of it. Music is so powerful. And I've just had musically like these little things that tell me, okay, you're in the right direction. I can't explain it. The Caruso thing, and then that other CD in Caruso, like, what are the odds? This obscure thing that people don't talk about anymore. And I just really connected with it there. You guys know the Rasputin Hobo McRib saga, and that 10-year heartache that I never thought I'd get over. And the Leonard Cohen, Hallelujah. That song really, really was a big part of my healing. And I told you there was this guy I went to go see play, and he did a banjo cover of it that, like, just completely helped me push out the last of whatever I was grieving. It was such a powerful experience for me. Um, and that to me was like another thing, like, okay, I'm in the right direction. I'm on the right path. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know, like I'm just kind of following my guidance, but I'm on the right path. And that's the whole thing with this moon card, releasing the faith, following the guidance, following the intuition. And music has given me a lot of little signs. Music has given me a lot of little things here that have helped me. And then what really blew me away fairly recently, I didn't talk about this too much in yesterday's card of the day. And if you're still here, God bless you. I'm just rambling away. A lot of you probably clicked off by now. But if you're still here, God bless you for listening. And I hope this is helpful because I'm sharing it because I'm hoping the experience can be helpful. Um, but yeah, so the same person that did the cover of Hallelujah released a song a couple of days ago about Halloween, and it seems so very nonsensical. Like it seems kind of like silly lyrics, but a lot of it I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not even going to break it down, but it just hits on so many points of my story. So many points of my story. And when he wrote the song, it could have just been completely nonsensical. When he wrote it, it could have been, you know, something that has nothing to do with like my journey. Maybe our journeys aren't parallel, right? It could just be a completely different thing. But in my mind, as I'm hearing that, I'm like, wow, that really applies to so much. And this was the creepiest thing to me. All of the things that um are mentioned here, like this journey, this part of my journey, it started in 2009. And then I read that that song was written and recorded in 2009, but not released until recently. So that just goes to the whole thing here to me is like we're all connected. And I feel like Spirit brings us a lot of guidance, a lot of healing, a lot of messages through art. Okay, and I'm not saying that the movies or the radio is talking to you. I'm not saying that. But there are messages that we can take as a part of our healing. There are messages that we can take that resonate with us, that get us thinking, that help us to come to realizations, that help us to release. And there'll be parallels. And so for me, like these are the little synchronicities that like give us the signs, like keep going, you're headed in the right direction. You might not know exactly where the finish line is or what the finish line is going to look like, but you're going to have these little markers along the way, these little deja vu moments, these little synchronicities, these little signs that tell you keep going, right? Keep going, overcome the fear, release the fear, listen to your inner guidance, listen to what your gut is telling you, and allow things to fall into place. So, overall, I think we're coming into a time where we're releasing fear and we're stepping into faith and we're stepping into learning to trust our intuition, learning to trust our gut. If you're curious about the song I mentioned from 2009, I will link it in the description of the video if you want to check it out. The other album I will also link, but it could maybe be uh maybe triggering is not the right word, but it might be offensive to some people. I will say that it kind of touches on some darker things and some controversial topics around gender and physical intimacy and art and childhood traumas and all kinds of things. But for me, it's a very I think it's art, and I think it's talking about what life is, right? It's life, it's the world, and like experiences that some of us have, and experiences that some of us don't have that we've never thought of. And you think, oh well, what would it be like to be in that person's shoes? What would it be like to walk that person's journey? And so I'll link those in the description. If you're still here, God bless you. Thank you for watching. I thank you for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. If you'd like to schedule a private reading with me, link is in the description. And I hope you all have a wonderful and fabulous day ahead. I hope you'll come back and check out tomorrow's message as well. And I'm going to be burning the midnight oil, getting those weekly forecasts out, and hopefully finishing up the 2023 forecasts here in the next couple of days. Fingers crossed. I'm working on it, guys. I just don't want to put out, low energy videos. So thank you for your patience, and thank you for being here. Thank you for receiving. Take care and be well.